So we continue with day 2 of today's presentation. Today what we are going to do is very simple. We are going to learn how to find the research papers. After finding the research papers, how to review them. And after reviewing them and using the research papers in our work, we also learn how to cite them. And the citation tool we are going to learn how to use today is mendeley. So first of all, if you would want to know how to find the research paper at all, and even if after you found it, you will have to know some parts of the research paper. When you have the research paper or research article, you'll have to know the parts that it contains. Mostly research papers have 6 parts. Those are the general parts that most research papers have. So today we will dive into the abstract more, because once you begin, maybe you are just doing a simple online search about a research topic of interest, what you mostly take a look at or what mostly catches your eye is the abstract, because the abstract contains to some extent a detailed or a summary, but it's a summary by detailed information about the research paper or research article you are looking for. So without wasting much time, once you go through the abstract, you'll be able to fish out the kind of method this research paper is using, the expected results they got, and maybe the objective of the problem statement they were trying to work on. Also, you go to the introduction. The introduction is also important, specifically when you want to find gaps in the research papers. The introduction will help you to some extent locate the gap the research work we are looking into is trying to address, or the gap that has been found in literature. And the method. So this method is quite specific to the research article you have, even though they will mention a number of research methods in the introduction. In the methods part of the research article, that is where the publishers or the authors of the article will focus on their method. So they will give an extensive description of their method. They give important parameters used in their research. If they used any data analyzing tool, they will state it. Any kind of software they use, they will state it. Mostly after the entire research article has been published, some of the publisher authors try to include additional files or documents that will supplement their work in case someone wants to replicate what they've done. They provide some starting structures for the person to be able to follow their method. So you will have to look out for that as well. Then move to the results and discussion. So with the results and discussion, they will discuss extensively the results, some of the data obtained from the experiment. They will use graphs to try to explain, or any analytical tool to try to explain their findings from their research. Then simultaneously, while they are displaying the results or showing you the result of the data that they have gathered, they will try to explain the concept and try to relate their results to other published papers or to other theories in science, and try as much as possible to use their results to address the gap. So any shortcomings that they have also, they try to discuss it in the result and discussion. Then move on to conclusion. So with the conclusion, they try to say something little. Mostly the conclusion can come in 2 parts. It's either you conclude and you recommend further studies. So the conclusion, you conclude whether your work was able to meet the objective of that particular research paper, or whether you were able to address the gap that you identified earlier. Then also you can, as part of the conclusion, you can try to recommend further studies to others. You might even try to lay down in one or two sentences some brief overview about how someone can use your work as a starting point to start a new project. So in that instance, you are giving other artists the opportunity to use your work for free. Then the references. So when it comes to a research article, you actually don't show all the references you used in maybe your dissertation, but you show the relevant references that you used. So mostly, the most references I've seen for such research articles will be around 18, 20. Mostly you don't have a lot of these references. Some can go as high as 40, but 40 is a lot for a research article, unlike a dissertation. So now we'll move on to how to find research papers. So yeah, I'll just move online, then we'll try to use Google Scholar to maybe find a research paper of interest. And if anyone has a keyword that they want us to search, you can just type it into the chat box, then we'll search about that and you'll be able to go through that quickly. So once you open Google Scholar, this will be the interface for Google Scholar. On the left hand side, the text in the red box, that is where you see the timelines of the research articles you want. So if you need to search for an article that has been in existence since 2013, you will be able to specify. It's like you are trying to refine your search so that you get relevant information. Mostly, it is advisable that when you are looking for research articles, we look for research articles that are not, let's say, more than 5 years. Is it more? Yes, more than 5 years old. So anything between maybe 1 to 5 years for current studies is acceptable. But nonetheless, you are not restricted to use research papers that are beyond 5 years old. You can also source for information from those articles, but you should try as much as possible to get the relevant articles, meaning articles that are not more than 5 years old, because it is believed that those articles will give you relevant information and it will try to solve issues in our current world. Then also, the text in the blue pane will show you quite a number of articles based on your search. Once you don't specify the timeline, Google Scholar will try to give you the most relevant articles. It will try to give you the most relevant articles that it can find. So I don't know the order, but it's just arranges them in any order. So you have to look through and note the dates so that you try to find the relevant ones. If you don't want to be using your eyes to scan through all the entire article, you can refine your search by setting the date or custom range that you have. So in a bit, we'll go through that. And then the information in the box pane shows that sometimes you'll be able to see the information in the box pane, and the green box will tell you whether you'll be able to download this research article for free or not. Mostly, that's what the information in the green box tells you. So once you are able to see that, then you click on that, because those ones they will most probably give you free versions of the article online and you can download it. So that's one. So 2, you can use Science Direct. We spoke about Science Direct yesterday as being one of the sources to find research articles. So Science Direct is under Elsevier. So what you will do is that you will need to sign up for Science Direct. For Science Direct, you will have to sign up for Science Direct using your institutional email if you have one. And mendeley, we'll be using mendeley today. Mendeley also comes under Science Direct. I mean, it works hand in hand with Science Direct. So the same login you use for mendeley, you can use that same login for Science Direct. Actually, when you are trying to sign up for mendeley, it will bring you to Elsevier. Yeah. So mostly you can try to cite articles in Science Direct easily. So when it comes to Science Direct, it has a lot of options for you. Once you go into the search box and key in the keyword that you want, it will bring you a list of articles. If you want all results type, it will show you all results, including web pages, books, journals, connections, and the rest. But if you are trying to search for journal articles, then you can click on the pane that shows journal articles. When you want your information in the form of a book too, you can look at that. Then in the form of web pages, you can see that. And also you can sort by relevance. You can sort by relevance to refine your search. So once you come to the relevance pane, then you can refine your search by doing that. That will make things easier for you to find the information that you want quicker. So now after you have found the research article you want, maybe you don't have access to it. Once you don't have access to it, there is a simple way that we all know, some of us to some extent know how to do that using SkyHub. So before I go into that, you could see that over here there is a portion called open access. This article that I have, you have a portion written open access. So once you see open access, then it means that you can use the download button down here to download it easily without having to go to SkyHub. So once you don't see open access, then you would have to copy the pane in red. Yeah, that is the DOI of the article. So you locate the DOI of the article. Once you locate the DOI of the article, then you copy the DOI, then you search for skyhub.com online. Once the interface of SkyHub opens, then you paste the DOI in the enter your reference. So once you paste the DOI, then you click open. Then open sends you directly to SkyHub. So once it sends you to SkyHub, that's how the interface looks like after the article you want to search has been opened. Once it has been opened, you can either use the save button at the left top corner below the SkyHub bed icon. There is a save icon there. You can either click on the save icon to download it to your desktop, or when you hover your mouse pointer over the article closer to the top of the page, you see a download button that is represented by the red arrow is trying to point to the download button. You can click on the download button and that will also download the article to your desktop. So you'd actually get this article for free. So that is all. Let me demonstrate how to use Google Scholar to search for an article. So let me do that. Start presenting. Let me share tab. So yeah. I'm now sharing a tab. So with Google Scholar, in your preferred browser, you search for google.scholar. So you can see it over here, google.scholar. Then it loads. So the first hyperlink we get, we click on that. So now we are at the interface of Google Scholar. If you automatically have a Google account, you know that okay, this is your Google Scholar. So over here we are searching for articles. So articles has been clicked over here. And these are quite a number of people that I follow their work on Google Scholar. So in case I need to know when any of them have uploaded an article onto Google Scholar, I can just click on this, and it means that I have subscribed to this particular person. Once any new article pops up in that research interest that I enjoy most, I'll be able to get access to. So assuming today the keyword I want to search about is immunotherapy, or let's say sustainable energy is what I want to talk about for today. I can search sustainable energy technologies. It gives me a number of keywords that I want. So I would try to pick one that best relates to the kind of research I'm trying to conduct. So if, for instance, I'm trying to conduct a research on sustainable energy technologies, then I click on sustainable energy technologies. Then immediately it loads for me to get some articles. But if you notice something, you see that Google Scholar will try as much as possible to bring the most relevant articles for me. And as I've explained earlier, to the right section, you could see html.sciencedirect.com. This article can be found online easily. So with something like this, once I click on it, I can find it quickly online. And there's a high probability that it will also be free once I click on this link. Also with this, I could get a PDF version of it, and there's a high probability that it will also be free. This as well, there's a high probability that it will also be free. Most often, older articles are somehow free, but newer articles, maybe 1 or 2 years, sometimes 3 years, they tend not to be free. So with that, you would have to get either a subscription or access that through your school's library. So if I intend to get information since 2023 that has been published on sustainable energy technologies, I just click since 2023 to refine my search. So once I click on it, I'll search. So what happens over here? You could see all the articles that have been suggested to me are published since 2023. So since January 2023, these are the newer articles. So you could see all the articles will be 2023. So you can do the same thing. Maybe you need since 2012, you click on that since 2012. Or you can decide to use the custom range. You can decide to use the custom range to custom the articles, like the years in which you want the articles to be found. So when it comes to custom range, maybe you can do 2000 to 2015. You are setting a specific range, then you search. So all the articles that will pop up will be within this range, right? Maybe I don't know when they first landed on the moon, but if you want to get maybe articles within that time, that period when mankind decided to land on the moon, you can search within that range and you can get all the relevant articles now that were published within that time. So now sustainable energy technologies, one of the areas the world is trying to focus. I think it started around 2007 somewhere. So maybe 2007 to 2023, I need all the relevant articles over there. I can search for that and I'll get almost all the entire articles with regards to sustainable energy technologies. You can also try to sort by dates, and everything will be sorted. So it has now been sorted by dates, including the citations and the rest. So if now you have review articles, you can choose to look for any of the articles, so any type. Then you have everything from books, so articles published on websites, journals, and the rest. You can get any type. So if you want only review articles, you can click on review articles, and all the searches that will come for you will be on review articles. So one, if you actually know what you are looking for, when it comes to Google Scholar, you wouldn't suffer a lot. Once you know the keyword that you are trying to find, you key in the keyword in the search area. If you need articles, newer articles, maybe published in 2013 or within a specific range, you set that specific range. If you need to sort by relevance, so the sort by relevance is actually telling you the number of times people have cited that article. That means that the information contained in that article is very good and people are using it a lot. So there's a high probability that once you click on that article, you would be able to find the relevant information that you need. So that is one thing you are supposed to note about Google Scholar. So I hope we are all clear on that. I think at this point, I would open the floor for any questions. So if you have any questions, this is the time to ask your question. Okay. Osman, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay. Yeah, Sylvanus, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. With regards to the part of research papers you earlier mentioned, I guess and I believe that some organization they already have their should I say a template, maybe a format in which when you are doing a research work, you have to follow that format.
Yes.
Because I've been seeing a lot of when I go to Google Scholar, when I download many research articles, there are different formats that each and every institution or each and every individual, when he or she is doing his work, he used. And KNUSC too, I think we have five formats. Okay, per what I know, we have five formats: the introduction, the literature review, the methodology, the data analysis, and the conclusion. But per what you gave me, I didn't see the literature review because it was abstract, introduction, method, resource, and discussion, conclusion, and reference. I didn't see the literature review. I don't know whether it is part.
Yeah. So I get where you are coming from. So during yesterday's session, I gave 3 forms of academic writing reports. So when it comes to academic writing reports, you have the thesis and dissertation. So the thesis and dissertation is what we are trying to describe now. Maybe KUST have their own formats, and it varies from institutions to institutions. So for my department, chemical engineering department, we have a research guide that you are supposed to follow when you are asked to present your thesis or dissertation. And because that is amounting towards, let's say, graduation, like you'll be graded on that, there is a format for you to follow, and that is when you have your abstract, introduction, then the literature review, the methodology. It varies for department to department, but with the thesis and dissertation, it is a must to review some form of literature, right? You are supposed to review others' work and include that in your reports. It's mandatory. But what I showed you earlier is the format of a research paper. So it's like you are now done with your thesis or dissertation, and you would want to publish your work.
Okay. All right.
And those are the formats you mostly find online. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. So Sam, your question.
Okay. Thank you. So I would like to know if there are types of research papers, because I know about journals and conference papers.
Yes.
So I want to know if there are others.
Yeah, so mostly the ones you find, to some extent, if you are trying to find academic papers, research papers online, some people would try to put their thesis online, because there are instances where I have found people's thesis online. So they try to upload the entire document online. That you mostly get it in maybe the institutional libraries. Some institutions have a library where past students can upload their thesis, and they make those sources free for everyone to use. But mostly the one you see on Google Scholar, Science Direct, I mean the top publication, journal publication companies, you intend to see conference papers, review articles. They are review articles. Then you see an original research work. Some even go as much as possible to put their presentation slide online, and you can find all those kind of academic research online. So mostly that you can see all kinds of them online. But if you want to copy or you try to replicate others' work, then you go in for the articles or the review papers. I hope you've been answered, Sam.
No. So my question is, I know about conference and journals.
Yeah.
I think those are types of papers, right?
Yes.
So yes.
Journal
So
articles. Yeah.
yes. So I want to know if there are other types of it and the
Yes.
difference between them.
There are other types of them. Just that the reason why they have different names is probably because of the way they are written or compiled. So when you come to journal articles, you see, for journals, you are writing to a particular journal publication, right? So maybe Science Direct, right? Science Direct publishes journals and publishes books. They publish journals and books. So with the books, your research paper that you've written, right, can be a chapter of a book. So maybe you have a book on sustainable energies, and sustainable energies, you have people's work, and the book will be contained by various kinds of people's research work that they have undertaken in sustainable energy technologies, right? And that will be compiled into a book. And when it comes to a journal article too, you can have a journal article for, let's say, lithium ion batteries, and that will be all. So when you talk about lithium ion batteries, then you're talking about energy storage systems. So there will be a journal article for energy storage systems. You get it? And that you can find individual journal articles in that. So they might come in volume, maybe journal article 1, volume 1. Then volume 1, you have about 10 research papers in that journal article. You get that? Then conferences also will have that kind of stuff. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no big difference, but it's just how they have been compiled or arranged. That's how they are named journal articles, maybe books. Then some are actually individual. They don't fall into, they are not either compiled into a book or a journal article. So they are on their own. I think I have to answer like Fatal's question. Fatal, what's your question?
Please, is it safe to like just look at the abstract sometimes for reasons of time
Yes.
without just looking at the other components of the research paper?
Yes. Sometimes you need a quicker
Yes.
you need to take a look at the information quickly so that you can move on to others. Maybe that's the initial stages when you are trying to search for the research papers. That's what you do. You scan through the abstract, because the abstract is some form of detail, so you'll be able to fish out maybe the method, the conclusion. Then once it suits the kind of information you need, then you download it. Then you can actually
Is there a
review
big
it properly.
difference?
You said?
Is there a big difference between looking at the abstract and then the other components, like the introduction and then the conclusion and discussions and then the other parts?
Yes. There are
Is there a big difference?
yeah,
If so, like I want to know.
there are differences between them. So after here I'll just show you how an abstract looks like. So you take a look at the abstract, then you take a look at the introduction as well, then you'll try to note the differences between that. But there's a difference.
Okay.
Even the format in which an abstract is written and the format in which an introduction is written, the methodology, the discussion, a result, and a conclusion. So there are ways in which they are all sectioned to make sure that the paper is trying to communicate the idea you intend to communicate. Yeah, Osman, I think that will be the last question, then we move on to the next session.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. Sylvanus, my question is regarding to Google Scholar. When you go to Google Scholar and you search, there are some articles that you get. And like if you ask yourself, it seems the articles are shallow. It's not that weighted, or maybe it doesn't contain much information as compared to the research that the person did. Which means there is some kind of discrepancies within them. I don't know, when after you are done with your research and you are uploading it, maybe the Google Scholar, do you have to go through some check and some review before they upload your paper? Or maybe we have some free site that you can, after maybe assuming maybe still finance you are done with your work, let me upload it for people to see what I have done.
There is. So every journal article have their style of publication, maybe some guidelines for you to upload your research work onto their portal. So maybe if you want to, you've done something in biorefineries and you want to upload that onto the Journal of Biomass and Biorefineries, you will have to contact them, and they have their guideline. So they will give you their guideline. Once they give you their guideline, you would structure your article, right? Your initial article towards their guideline. Once you are done, you submit your article for review. So your article will go to that publisher for them to review the article first. So they will review the article, give you their comments, then they will send the article back to you with their comments for you to rectify. Once you rectify them, then you send it to them again. So there will be this back and forth process until you have actually met the standard of that publication group, right? So once you've met the standard of that publication group, then your paper will go ahead to be published. So they do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mostly the sources that I think they don't do much checkers, ResearchGate. I don't know quite much about that, but I know ResearchGate. Sometimes the articles you find there, they are a bit shallow. So once the articles are shallow, you don't those articles don't get much citations, and once you see that the citations are very, very low, the best option is to ignore. The best option is to ignore. So we will come back again to Google Scholar, and that's when we are trying to use mendeley. So for now, let's move on to how to review, perform literature review. Okay, so let me switch the slide now. Okay, so let's continue. So now the review process. So what at all is the purpose of a literature review, right? So we've been talking about identifying gaps in research papers and what's not and what is. So first, you would have to identify the gap within research papers. That's one of the importance of a literature review. So identify gaps in literature. Then two, you find other people working in your field, right? So literature review can actually lead you to finding people who are working in your fields. So every research paper comes with the detail of the leading author, right? The leading author of that particular paper. you find their email address and maybe probably their school. So their email address is enough for you to contact them to try and give you more information about their work once you express interest. Mostly articles that have been published, like new articles, maybe not more than 5 years old. When you try to contact the publishers, they respond. But the ones more than 5 years old, when you contact the publishers, there's a little chance that they'll reply. Yeah. So literature review would also lead you to identifying major seminal works. Sometimes you don't just get the information you want on Google Scholar or maybe the other publishing journals. You can get them by looking at conferences, right? By trying to attend conferences where people will present their work, or research seminars. And that is where you can meet people and identify major seminar works. Maybe once that seminar work suits yours, you can try to cite that work in yours. So you can identify main methodologies and research techniques when you perform literature review. So each research article comes with what they intend to communicate to their audience, right? So you can find whatever or whichever information you want in these research articles. Then identify main ideas, conclusions, and theories, and establish similarities and differences. So yeah, for your thesis and dissertation, this is what you actually do. You try to elaborate on main ideas in others' work, or you try to identify the trends, the differences between different sets of publications, right? Maybe you can start Osman El Al started a work on sustainable energies, trying to store energies in maybe watermelon seeds. Now Francis Sam El Al are trying to store energy in maybe plantain seed or something like that. So you try to connect the ideologies, the similarities and differences, major conclusions and theories. That will help you work through your thesis or dissertation well. Then you provide a context for research of your own. So once you are doing that, then it is trying to pave way for you to find a context to shape your research. That is why it is important to do literature review. So literature review will pave the way. It will actually give you a very wide overview of the research you are trying to conduct, so that you will be able to tailor your solutions to meet the standard. Then you show relationship between previous studies or theories. So after it has paved way for you, you'll be able to use your work to show the relationship between the others. It's like your work is one way or the other trying to validate or confirm what others have done. So the literature review will give you this wide overview to see things proper in that particular field. Yeah. So I think we have exhausted the importance of performing literature review. So now let's delve into the sections of an abstract. So we are still on the review process and we are looking at reviewing the abstract. So when you want to review the abstract, you will have to take a look at the various sections of the abstract. So once you know the various sections of the abstract, then you are able to know where to find what, or you'll be able to hasten your research finding process. So mainly, if you want to find a research article and you need to find maybe 10 articles today to read, to go into details into that, you can try reviewing the abstract first. And once you review the abstract first, you will be able to find the research articles quicker. So the section where I have labeled problem with the blue curly brackets, let me read it. So Dozo-Robertson cytotoxic mechanism suggests that drug intercalation with the DNA double helix leads to its damage and further inhibits tumoral cell growing and replication. The cytotoxicity of dogs is non-specific, and normal cells, such as those in the heart tissue, are also affected. Incorporation of DOX into lipid-based nanocarriers, such as liposomes, improves the drug targeting into tumor cells and reduces drug side effects. The dog's membrane interaction is expected to be affected by the carrier's lipid composition and its partitioning into the liposomal membrane. So when you take a look at this abstract, the problem has been clearly defined as to what is happening to the DOX molecule. So DOX is one form of doxorubicin. It is an anti-cancer drug, right? So it is injected intravenously and mostly used alongside immunotherapy treatments, right? So now they are trying to study, this article was trying to actually study the efficacy of the DOX molecule when injected intravenously. Maybe when people take this doxorubicin drug, what it does is that it actually targets the cancerous cells, kills the cancerous cells. But once it kills the cancerous cells, it also tries to kill some of the normal cells within the body. So what this article was trying to do is that, okay, now can I design something, maybe a nanocarrier, that will now transport the doxorubicin molecule to kill the cancerous cells without killing some of the normal cells, right? So that is the problem. The problem has been defined, and the publishers know that, okay, this is what we intend to do. Now the next part, the method they intend to use. Classical molecular dynamic simulations will be employed to study and understand the behavior of protonated doxorubicin molecule in potential liposome membrane, here modeled as pure lipid bilayer, based on the dipyrimethyl phosphatidylcholine DPPC lipid molecules. So that is the method they intend to employ, right? The method they try to use molecular dynamics simulations to study how the molecule will behave when placed in a potential lipid bilayer. So that is the chosen method. Then finally, they conclude on their studies. So they said our studies or our results show that the DOX plus protonation and partitioning are facilitated into less tightly packed SM-based membranes and are dependent on lipid compositions. So the general idea is that when you pick any review article and you take a look at the abstract will have the problem or the idea or the gap the research paper intends to solve. It will be stated. So mostly it comes within the first portions of the abstract. Then followed by that, you will have the methodology described, then the results. So with this in mind, let's take a look at another one, and I'll give you all a moment to read. Then I'll call one of you, or one of you can volunteer. Then you will walk through to see how we'll be able to fish out the main idea, the method used, and the results. So let's take a few moments and look at this article. So 2 or 3 minutes we can go through this article and try and figure out the idea, the method, and the results using the format described earlier. I hope by now we are all almost through it. The article. So which of you will lead the charge for us? Who will take the initiative for us to take us through this article? Francis. Are you willing to take us through? Usman. Fatal, will you take us through? Oh,
Is it as in reading it or
so just like
explaining it? Or
just like what I did in the previous section, right? Yours is not to explain, right? So I want you to identify the various sections. Maybe
the
read.
problem, the
Tell me.
method, and the results.
Tell me where the problem ends. Tell me where the method ends. Tell me where the result ends. That's all I want you to do. So let's go through
Let
the
me see.
article. So if you've read through, where does the problem statement ends? So maybe if it ends at let's say nanomedicine, then you tell me second sentence or maybe third sentence or fourth sentence. So every full stop demarcates
I
one
think the
sentence.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem ends at where they said the data using let me see, a phenomenological mathematical model. I think that's where the problem ended. And then with their method, they said we demonstrate that cancer cells can develop adaptive resistance by entering into a predetermined transitional trajectory that leads to phenocopies of inherently chemo-resistant cancer cells, disrupting the deterministic program requires
Okay, so
disrupting this.
so where does it end? I think it should end somewhere at distribution to cells, right? So the last but one statement where it reads, in contrast, a combination of free-form
Yes.
drugs or two nanoparticles, each carrying a single payload, is less effective.
I think yes. I think the transitional term in contrast, they are using it to
talk about the
join with
results.
the what do you call it? I mean, it's problem method and then
Results.
results. I
Yeah.
think they are using that transitional term to conclude it as a result.
Okay.
Right?
So it should end at target cells, right?
Yes. That's where the method ends.
Okay. Sam, do you have any?
Okay, for me, I think the problem ends at this sentence. However, should a combination of two drugs be delivered from a single nanoparticle, or should they be delivered in two different nanoparticles for maximal efficacy? They used we after that sentence, using we meaning they.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it ends at the question.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
with their methodology, I think it starts from using two such combinations. We demonstrate that a two-in-one nanomedicine can induce greater anti-tumor efficacy by ensuring that the origins of
So you
adaptive
after your extraction. Oh, okay. I think you can go and see them and ask them like what's the minimum
Hey,
the minimum
who's
mass they
talking?
can take or the minimum amount of sample they can take. You get it? Then you proceed from there. You've extracted the lignin already, right?
Sam, can you come again?
You are still yeah.
Okay. So yes. So I think their methodology starts from using two such combinations with.
So okay, so
I'm coming.
have you done? So you've done the two without the with one. So you are now doing without the
Demonstrate that a
catalyst.
two-in-one nanomedicine can induce
With the
greater
catalyst. Okay.
more efficacy
Relax.
by.
Sam, it seems that someone is talking in your background. Or
To me, I'll say
Richard.
Monday, if you can pass the.
No, I think it's one of your colleagues, academic
the amount they
excellence.
need, like the minimum amount they can take.
Richard. Joshua. It seems your background is noisy. You are trying to distract us. Okay, Sam, you can unmute yourself and continue now.
You understand? You understand?
Okay, thank you. Using two such combinations, we demonstrate that a two-in-one nanomedicine can induce greater antitumor efficacy by ensuring that the origins of adaptive resistance are terminated by deterministic, spatially constrained delivery of both drugs to target the cells.
So that's
And
when the methodology is ending, right? Oh,
yes, yes.
Rosina, I saw your hand up. Do you have any contributions to me?
Okay. My contribution was I think it's similar to what Sam was saying, but I think the problem ends at where the efficacy and the question mark is, because they started the other one with V, so that one wouldn't be part of the problem. Then the methodology, I think, it starts from we studied the phenotypical dynamic of breast cancer under cytotoxic chemotherapy stress, and we analyzed the data using a phenomenological mathematical model.
Okay.
I feel that's the method that they used to analyze whatever they were looking for.
Yeah. So through this research paper, you'll be able to fish out the method they used. Then they actually went ahead to describe the method. It is not wrong. So they have the method. Then they give a brief description about the method, and in the problem statement, you see that this research article has clearly defined the research question they intend to solve, right? So maybe you might be performing a research relating to this area, but once you read the abstract, then the research question matches with what you are trying to do. Then I think without wasting much time, you would have to download this article. Then later on, you take your time to review it very well. Richardson, do you have any? Richardson, your hand is up. Oh, Fatal has raised his hand. Richardson, do you want to say something?
So is it always?
I think it's Elikem who wants to say something.
Okay, then let him say
Elikem, you
it.
can speak.
Is it always constant that they arrange the what do you call it?
Okay,
The
Fatal.
process limited and then the.
You said, is it
always constant that they arrange them like how you did it, or sometimes they change it?
okay? So the format is
Like the problem, the method, and then the.
I understand you. That is the standard.
Solution.
That is the standard research articles or publications are supposed to follow, right? So it is wise that once you want to define your abstract, you have the problem coming first, so that anybody that picks it knows that, okay, this article is trying to address this particular problem, right? You will notice that this once you define the problem first, then bring the methodology, then bring the results. It is wise that once I pick your research article, I'm able to take a look at your problem, what questions, the questions you are actually trying to answer, then the methodology you tried using to address that particular problem, and the results you obtain. Could you imagine that if you pick a research article and what you see is that the research article starts by, in this research, we found out that adding 1 molecule of benzene to ethane will produce like, then the problem will now come, then the method will now come. You will not be able to make sense out of the research article. So the standard is to bring the problem first, the methodology, then the result. So it follows that chronological order. Then you try to communicate your ideas clearly. Do you get it?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So if I get you right, so the in every review abstract, we have to bring the questions or
the research questions, the problem, what you are trying to address first. Then
the research problem.
Yeah.
And the methodology and the results.
Then the results, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's the standard, at least for most of the articles that I've read. So if you pick a research article that you read, when you read and it doesn't maybe answer that, like it doesn't follow that format, then they make things a bit complex for you. But these ones are for articles. You may have review papers that would follow the same format, but the what do you call it? And they also definitely ask the research questions. So they ask the research questions, but what they mostly miss is the methodology, right? What they mostly miss when it's a review article, what they mostly miss is the methodology, but they still follow the same thing. So they have their problem and their results, right? For most review articles. But when you are doing an original work, then you have to state maybe the method. But even if it's a review method, then the kind of methods you intend using in reviewing the paper, you will have to state that as well in the abstract. So that is the best format, or the right format that must be followed when you are trying to draft an abstract for publication. Same applies to conferences. Yeah. Just that with conferences, you give an elaborate, like you try to elaborate on the method you are using. So you try to elaborate more on the problem or the research question. Then you elaborate more on the methods, then maybe one or two results. Just that with abstracts that people present for conferences, they do not have all the results yet, right? So they tend to present the idea and the expected results so that they will receive that kind of funding. So when they receive the funding, then they can now refine their research and
Yeah, sure.
bring out
I think
the complete article.
please can you add introduction, because this is starting from an introductory aspect, which is the development of resistance is a major cause of mortality in cancer, something introduction.
So yeah, that's the problem. So the problem in defining the problem statement, right? This is the problem statement. People have different methods for starting their problem statements, right? Some can start with maybe the research question, right?
Oh, okay.
First, and some would want to give a brief background, like to actually state a problem, maybe the use of energy sources derived from fossil fuels are impacting on the carbon footprint of the world, right? However, what. So they will try to state the effect of whatever study they are trying to conduct before they actually come to the research questions. So it all depends on you, but the most important thing is that you should be able to state your problem or research questions clearly, such that anybody that picks it knows that, okay, this person is trying to or attempting to address this problem. Do you get it? Osman, I hope you do.
Yes, please. Yes, yeah, I understand.
Okay. So on this note, I'm sure we are all on the same page. Let's move on to the next part of our presentation. So yeah, we are now heading to citation and citation tools. So as students, mostly the ones that we use is mendeley, and quite like a few of us use endnotes and zero or something. So today, what I intend to do is to take you through how to get a research paper using mendeley and citing that particular research paper in your article. So that will be the next session for today's meeting. And Joshua, I'm surprised today's meeting has not ended, or for the first session, or today it is not
Yes,
ended.
it's because of how we
You
created
restructured it.
the form,
Ah.
the link. Sorry.
Okay, then I'm glad it's not ended. So I hope by now most of you have your mendeley installed, right? Do you all have your mendeley installed?
Yes.
Okay. I presume you have that. Do you have the web importer as well? The mendeley web importer. Okay. So once you have the mendeley web importer, let's head to Okay, I'm coming. Let me share the tab so that you can follow through what I'm doing. Joshua, and please be monitoring what I'm doing. So at any point where I switch in between tabs and you can't see what I'm doing. Maybe I'm talking about something and you can't see what I'm doing. You prompt me for me to switch tabs. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So now I hope you can see my Google Scholar account. So I'm trying to click on this first. So in the search box, you can just key in any keyword you want. So just key in any keyword you want. For me, I want reviewing on building strategies for renewables. So I click on that. Right. So now I have the article. So I can view it in PDF form. Once I have this article, I can view it in PDF form. So let me try viewing it in PDF.
Yes, Silvanus.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
I can't see your screen.
Can you see it now?
No, I'm not seeing your screen.
At all?
No.
Who else can see mine?
Oh, well, I can see it. Sustainable energy technology and assessment, the form. I don't know whether it might be a problem from. Probably because of my network.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You continue.
Okay, sure. So, luckily enough, for this research article I found, once I clicked on the view PDF, it is easier for me to download. It means that this research paper or review article is free to download. So in this case, I wouldn't even have to struggle. Once I like what I see, I just click on the download button over here. Then I'm able to download that, right? Okay. One thing too, can you see, I'm trying to point to my mendeley web importer. Can anyone see it? At the top right corner, I'm trying to point to my mendeley web importer. Can anyone see it?
No.
You can't see that?
No, yeah.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me change the way I'm sharing my screen. Unless I duplicate the entire screen. Okay, let me share the entire screen. Pardon me, unless I share the entire screen before you can see my tab. Okay, so I'm trying to point to the mendeley web importer. Can anyone see that?
Yeah, I think I can see.
Yeah, I'm this is not the best way, but okay. So once you can see that, so now let me go to the tab. So now you can see the screen. So I'm switching between tabs. So now you can see where I am, right? So
you can see the rules.
So once you are in the article portion, you just click your mendeley web importer, right? So I'm clicking that. I'm supposed to sign in first. I'm coming. I don't know why it is trying to misbehave, but ideally, once you have the mendeley downloaded onto your desktop and you have the web importer and you click on mendeley, it will bring a drop down. Once you see the drop down, then you click on add whichever article that you've opened to mendeley, right? Once you click on that article will be there. It will automatically be in sync with the mendeley installed on your desktop and the mendeley reference, the Windows installer. So once you click on that, there should be a drop down. I don't know why mine is not working, but there should be a drop down. Then you can add the article. You see a portion where the link of your article will be in the list of articles for you to add to mendeley. Then you just tick the box over there to add that particular article to your mendeley. Then it will then synchronize with the one on your desktop and the one in Microsoft Word, right? So what you can do is that once you have the mendeley desktop, you can go to tools. Once you click on tools, click on install either web importer or the version for Microsoft Word, right? Once you do that, then you should have something like this in Microsoft Word. So in Microsoft Word, can you still see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So in
Yeah, I
Microsoft
can see.
in Microsoft Word, I'm using a Mac. That's why mine is at the left corner of the page. But in Microsoft Word, somewhere between insert citation, you see mendeley up here with it in Microsoft Word for the Windows. You see it somewhere here. But for me, I'm seeing it over here. So once I click mendeley cite, this icon, it's trying to load all the articles that I've added to mendeley over here. There will be a different feature for mendeley on Windows, right? There's a different feature. So assuming I have read something from this research paper, if effect of disulfide bridge on the binding of SARS-CoV-2 fusion peptide to cell membrane. In case I've read something about it and I want to cite it, I just click here, then insert citation. Then it will be inserted. So maybe I want to add the next one. So I click on this, insert citation. Then it will be there, right? So you can do for, or maybe if you have several, you can do for several of them. You can do for several of them. But this feature shows differently on Windows. If you are trying to follow this and you're on Windows, once you click the mendeley cite icon, it will show you a rectangular dialog box on the screen. Then you can see the list of references or a list of articles you intend to reference. Then the same procedure, you click on it, then when you click on it, then you click insert citation, then the citation will be inserted. So the same way. So once I am done, now I'm done performing the in-text referencing and all that. Once I'm done and I want to gather the list of what references that I've used in my article, you see that you have 3 dots. I presume it is the same for Windows as well. You have these 3 dots, then you click on insert bibliography, right? You click on insert bibliography, then they will tell you that okay, your bibliography will be inserted at your cursor location. Once you click that, click continue, then all the list of references I have used in this article will be shown here. Then you can do the necessary editing to make sure that it is nice. You do the necessary. You can also try to set your citation style. So maybe if you want Harvard style, IAE style, American, whichever style you want, once you click on it, it updates everything. Update style. It will update the entire style. So you can start off with any style you want. Once you are done, then you try to style it according to your institution. So Chicago style, whatever, it will switch everything back to the style. Also with that same 3 dots, once you have maybe used the web importer to reference a particular article, get the details of that article, and it is not showing in maybe your mendeley on desktop and Microsoft Word, you only have to click update from library. Once you click update from library, it will try to update your mendeley database with the ones you cited online, so that you always stay up to date with your citations. I think it should be quite easier to do that. I'm coming. Share window. So yeah, that will be all for Mendeley side. So those using Mendeley for Windows, I kept on mentioning tools. So once you open Mendeley desktop, you take a look at tools, file, edit, view, tools. So once you click on tools, you see the tools for the Microsoft Word plugin and web importer plugin. So click on the Microsoft Windows plugin and the web importer, install both of them. After you've installed both of them, you sign up using your institution email. After you sign up using your institution email, then now you can go ahead and start using that as I have demonstrated. So you would always have to click over here, maybe synchronize the sync. So once you click on synchronize, it will try to synchronize the references you've added on the web. It will synchronize that for you. Then always your database will be up to date. If you take a look at the Microsoft Word I showed you, you realize that I had a folder called MD simulations. You can also do the same thing. You can group your citations in Mendeley as well. So under groups at the left hand side, you will see something like create group. So you can create a group. Maybe you are conducting 5 researches, so you can create a group for all your research topics. And once you are performing the citation on, even using the web importer, you can specify where you want that particular research article to go. So once you click on add on the website, it will show you where you are supposed to, or it will give you the liberty to choose which of the folders you want to put what research article. And that is one flexibility of using Mendeley, so that you will always have your reference materials organized. I think one benefit also of using Mendeley is that once you have added the research paper as a reference material into Mendeley database and it has been synchronized, you don't necessarily have to download the article again to your desktop. What you can do is that within the same Mendeley Windows, once you are connected to the internet, you can just double click the article and you will read the article in Mendeley. You double click and it will give you the chance to read the article in Mendeley without having to download it, maybe if you are constrained with space and all that. Yeah. Thank you very much for following today's presentation, and I will now open the floor for question and answers. Yeah, thank you very much.